Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm not supposed to review movies, and today's review is going to be on.
Watching because you're gorgeous.
So, this new adaptation of Mean Girls was announced some time ago now. When it's kind of a remake of the original film from nearly 20 years ago now. However, not entirely because, of course, this is technically more of an adaptation of the musical of Mean Girls, which came out like back in 2018. This film is basically an adaptation of that stage musical. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it seems like an idea. And while I don't think anything could quite live up to the original Mean Girls, I'll admit I was willing to see a new take on the story. And to be fair, I do think the trailers actually made it look quite promising. I mean, with it kind of being essentially the same story, but kind of set like closer to the 2020s era, and like uh and like with this one kind of course it's also a musical this time. Although to be fair, I mean, I don't think the trailers for this movie really made this film out to be a musical. They didn't really display any of those aspects in the trailers. Uh, to be fair, it was the same thing with Wonka. I mean, the trailers for Wonka didn't really make it out to be a musical either. Um, but yeah. So this new adaptation of Mean Girls was released this week in Ireland, and I went to see it there last night, and I'm glad to say I actually quite enjoyed this film. Now, would I say it's on the same level as the original Mean Girls? No, honestly. It is not as good as the original, but to be fair, it is kind of harsh to live up to that original movie. But to be honest, I think as its own thing, this is actually quite a solid film. Uh, to start things off, I actually really like the cinematography in this film. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's actually some really good shots in this film. And I honestly do like really like the way that the movie is shot. And during some like scenes, like especially during the musical numbers, they kind of film this movie kind of like it's like a music video or something, which to be fair, I think is actually a solid idea and does work very well for the movie in its favour. So I have to say, I actually think the cinematography in this movie was really good. Actually, I thought this movie was honestly shot very well. The editing in this film, I think, is pretty good. Like the film kind of does some interesting things with the editing. And yeah, I think it's honestly it does it pretty well. And like yeah, it's honestly it's I mean it's not I don't think it's absolutely amazing editing or anything, but with that being said, I think it is pretty solid. And yeah, so I think this movie is edited pretty well. Now, in terms of the pacing in this film, now the pacing isn't really too bad. Like this film, longer than the original movie, because well, the original film was an hour and 37 minutes. This film, on the other hand, is exactly 2 hours long, and well, to be fair, this movie, I mean, it is pretty much the same plot as the original film. Um, the way the film kind of goes through it's the same as with the original. But I think it's with the song numbers that they do kind of bulk it up to the longer runtime. I don't really mind the longer runtime in the film. I think it does a pretty decent job with the film's runtime, and I thought it felt pretty even with the plot and the songs. Now one complaint I will say is that I do think a little bit quick at times. I know I felt like some scenes happened like a bit quicker and a bit sooner than they should have happened, but honestly, I'll say that the pacing here isn't too bad. Now we get to the sound of music. Now, obviously, as I said, this film is a musical, so of course we have quite a few songs in the movie. Even though the trailer didn't really display the film as a musical, but trust me, this film, it definitely is, and we of course have quite a few songs in the film. And I am not gonna lie to you guys, I think the songs in this movie are actually really good. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure that these are, of course, the songs from the musical. And to be fair, I actually think that the songs here are really good. I think they further the story very well, and yeah, I actually think they're genuinely really nice to listen to, and they even give us a bit into all these characters, which is basically what any song in any musical is meant to do. So yeah, I think that the songs in this film are really good. Songs are available on YouTube. I would actually highly recommend you guys to actually go listen to these songs for yourself if you haven't seen the film yet, because I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought the songs were really good. So so I thought the film was really good in terms of the music department. Now we get to the characters and the performances from the cast. So, first off, we of course have our main character, Katie Heron.
It's Katie.
Sorry, Katie Heron. Yeah, you guys see what I did there. Yeah, honestly, I liked this film's rendition of Katie. I mean, she is pretty much the same character from the original film. Most of them are pretty much the same characters from the original movie, but yeah, with that being said, I liked Katie in this version, and I thought that Angourie Rice actually did a really good job in her performance. Now, I don't think she was quite as good as Lindsay Lohan in the original movie, but to be fair, as her own version of the character, I thought she honestly did a really good job here and actually led the film really well. Next up, we get to this film's versions of the plastics. Starting off with our main girl herself, Regina George. Yeah, honestly, I actually do really like this film's version of Regina George. In this version, she's played by Reneé Rapp, who actually plays the character in the musical as well. And yeah, I thought she did a great job here as Regina. Like, well, obviously, I know Rachel McAdams is pretty much the original Regina, but to be fair, I actually do think Reneé Rapp here did a great job at, making the character her own. And if you ask me, out of the entire cast, I think she was pretty much the standout here. Well, to be fair, I thought like pretty much a lot of the casts were great, but if I was asked who the standout was, I'd probably say Rapp because she did a great job here as Regina, definitely making this character her own. Now, in terms of the other two plastics, Gretchen and Karen, I liked this film's rendition of Karen. Well, I still probably prefer the version from the original movie, who was played by Lacey Chabert. I thought this actress did a pretty good job here. And then of course there's Karen, who is probably my favorite character from the original movie, since she's just I just found her character to be so damn funny in the original. And to be fair, I actually thought this actress in her like version of this character actually did a very good job. Like, I actually found Karen to be the funniest character in this version as well. So, yeah, to be fair, this actress did a very good job. Like, she actually did a great job playing Karen, and yeah, and I thought she was actually very funny in this version. So, yeah, she honestly did a very good job here. Um, But then we have this movie's version of Janice, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually really liked this movie's version of Janice. Like if I'll be honest, if there's one character in this film, in this version, who actually comes quite close in comparison, in terms of how good they are compared to the original, I'd probably say Janice, because I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked this movie's version of Janice like about as much as I liked her in the original movie. Like I'll be honest. I thought Alili Cravalho. I thought she was actually really good in this role, and of course, since she's of course the actress who did the voice of Moana, she can obviously sing really well. But yeah, I think I actually did like her portrayal of Janice. And well, now to be fair, Lizzie Kaplan was very good in the original movie. But to be fair, I thought that in this version, I really liked Janice. Yeah, I know I said earlier that I think of the cast, Reneé Rapp as Regina George is the standout, but I'd say probably after her, I really liked Alili Cravalho, because I thought she did a great job here as Janice. Movie's version of Damien, and yeah, I'll be honest, I did like this movie's version of Damien. Now, to be fair, I do prefer Damien from the original movie, just because, Damien was like, Damien along with Karen was like the funniest character in the original movie. But to be fair, this movie's version of Damien was pretty good as well. I thought he was rather funny. Like that, there was one scene in particular of his that I actually thought was pretty funny. Yes, of course, it is that scene from the trailer. But just to be fair, and I thought Jaquel Spivey did a pretty good job here, and he actually, I think he did, I think he was definitely inspired by Damien's portrayal in the original movie, but nonetheless, I thought he did a very good job here. Now, I won't really go too much into some of the other characters, but like, I thought pretty much all the supporting cast were pretty good in this. Now of course, two cast members in this who actually reprised their roles from the original movie. That of course, those of course being Tim Meadows and Tina Fey. And well, to be fair, they have. I mean, obviously they've both gotten like a good bit older from the original films, 20 years now. Well, to be fair, Tina Fey actually looks pretty good now for like how she was in the original movie. Um, but yeah, well, they still play the same characters that they did 20 years ago. But yeah, I do think I think they both do pretty good jobs here. Yeah, so I thought the characters in this, well, they are the same characters from the original movie, but they were very good in this film. I thought pretty much the entire cast all did really good jobs, like really making these characters their own. So yeah, I thought the cast here were really good, honestly. Now, as for the plot of this film, now, obviously, this is basically the same plot as for the original movie. Although to be fair, there actually are like some differences in this version, cause we does kind of add some things into this version that are quite different from the original. I won't really go too much into some of these changes because, well, either they're not really that important, or they're potential spoilers for the movie. But to be fair, I actually thought the movie did a really good job with these changes, actually making this be like its own film. And also the movie kind of, it what it does differently from the plot of the original is how it kind of goes through and it kind of portrays everything the same story beat by beat, but it's kind of told, they do kind of do different things with this kind of, they kind of tell it in a bit of a different way to how they do in the original. Like for example, some of the songs in this movie, they're actually like, they're actually basically plot points, or that they kind of, they're basically parts of the story, or they kind of like, they basically like establish things. And yeah, and I think they did that musical aspect very well, because they actually did a really good job at like making this be really different from the original, like in terms of how they tell the story. Yeah, so I honestly think they did a really good job with the plot of this film, despite it being the exact same as the original. The way they told it, but kind of made it into a musical this time, I thought they did a really good job with it, and actually did a great job in not just making it be like a shot for shot rehash of the original. So I thought they did a great job with that. Um, and as for the narrative structure now, obviously it's pretty much all of the same like plot points from the original movie that are in this one as well, but I think the way that they're all like portrayed in this film kind of done, and again the way they kind of try to make it different from the original, I actually think they do a pretty great job of it. Like actually, they make it feel very fresh. And yeah, honestly, like I think the way all these different plot points are like done is like, even though it's the same as the original, it's kind of portrayed in a different way, but they did a really good job with it, and they made it feel very fresh, despite it being the same plot. So yeah, honestly, I think they did it, and especially with this being like a musical and having it all be told through like all these different songs and stuff, they did a really good job with it. So yeah, overall, I liked this new version of Mean Girls. Like, even though the original is still the superior version, I actually do think this new version was good as well. Like, I liked the cinematography. The songs were really good. I think the cast all did very good jobs with their respective characters, and yeah, I thought they did a very good job in actually trying to make this feel different from the original movie. So yeah, if you are willing to see like a new version of Mean Girls, but like as a musical, or if you just if you just want a really fun musical for 2 hours, I'd say this is definitely worth watching. So with that, I'm going to give Mean Girls a 7 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.